Good evening, everyone. Welcome to closing comments for August 18th. Let's jump right into our charts and take a technical look at today's action. First up, we got our October live cattle on the board. We did see a nice little inside day here in this cattle market. Prices just hanging steady inside that prior day's range. This October live contract basically repeating yesterday's action. See a nice rally higher off that opening range today, opening up here above 219.5. Seeing a nice push up there to 221 before retreating back down to 218 once again. This market continues to find some decent support here between about 218 and 219. We want to take note of this equal low down here at 218 between yesterday and today's session. I want to make sure that the bulls continue to defend that level. If we do get offers below 218, look for this thing to come back down here and try and retest last week's low at 215.25. If we do get some follow through down here below last week's low, look for this thing to continue to unravel back down here towards $2. However, in the meantime, we continue to see some decent support here. Got a good battle going on here as the buyers are trying to keep this market supported after Friday's action. At the moment here, the bulls still holding on here with a close at 219.15. We need to see them come out swinging once again tomorrow and actually hold on to some of those early gains. If we get some pushes back above 221 here like we saw today, look for this thing to get marked up here into this zone right around 223 to 224. Bulls still have a chance to keep this market rallying. We continue to see decent support down here. Just need to make sure that they can defend that 218 level, and we should see this thing try and claw its way back up here into the 220s. Next up, we got our September feeders on the board. Similar action here today. This market opening up with a nice little inside day, pushing up here above that bull pivot once again, continuing to bounce back and forth here between about 32 and 35 on the day. This market just hanging steady here once again. Good support down here at this yearly range lows. We need to see these bulls continue to find support inside of Friday's range, and we should see this thing kind of creep back up here into the 340s and try and get some upside back on track. Bulls need to defend this week's low down here right around 331.5. If not, we could see it get marked back down here to 328. Below that, we should see this thing unravel, and we could see some more downside and volatility if we do get some offers below last week's low. However, in the meantime, the bulls are putting up a fight here, and we should see them continue to act as support here this week. We need to get some bids and hold on to some of these higher prices that we've been seeing early off of the opening ranges. We want to see less pushback off of those highs and see these bulls get a nice strong close back above this bull pivot for the week, and we should see some upside come from here. Next up, December corn futures, seeing some resistance up here near these range highs. Early rally up there above 492 today, but getting rejected down there into the close, finishing the day right around 487. Back up here at 490 here in the evening session, but looking like we're going to continue to see some resistance up in the high $4 range, knocking on the door $5. Look for the sellers to take another swing back down here, back towards these major averages and keep this corn market range bound. Next up, crude prices with a pretty quiet day. Nice little inside day here as this market hung steady between about $84, $85. Also seeing this market roll over out of that September contract and over into October. So just some quiet, choppy action here. We expect to see this market run into some resistance up here at around 87, 87.5. Not really expecting much upside here for this crude market at the moment. We should see this thing kind of settle back down here towards the $80 to $75 range. But we need to see these sellers get active up here and keep this market capped. If we do get a nice strong close back above 87, 87.5, that opens the door to this $90 to $100 range. So look for some volatility if we do get a close back above that $87 level. But in the meantime, we expect to see this crude market just kind of hang steady here. And last but not least, our equity indexes seeing a little bit of a pullback here. The S&P pulling back down here towards that 20-day average. The Nasdaq was the big loser today, coming all the way back down to that 20-day, losing a little over 1.5% at one point. The Dow hanging steady here, sitting right on top of that 20-day average. We should see this thing continue to find support, keep this uptrend intact. We should see the Nasdaq get a bid here as well around these major averages. As well as the S&P, just looking like a nice orderly pullback here in the midst of a big picture uptrend. Look for this dip to be a good buying opportunity, and we should see more upside come for these equity markets here as we head into the end of the summer. Look for this to be a good dip buying opportunity. Be on the lookout for some good deals and discounts. Now is a good time to be putting that capital back to work, and we should see a nice little uptrend come from here and keep these markets rallying back up towards those all-time highs. That's all we got for tonight. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Catch you guys tomorrow.